Life in Sweden to me is really good. Learn how to cook for myself, get out of my comfort zone, live a self-sustainable life, learn how to take it easy. My name is Esti. Welcome to Esti in Sweden. It's midsummer in a couple of days and we're gonna host some friends in this little tent. And this morning we went for grocery shopping at the supermarket. And let me go through some of the stuff that I bought. I didn't intend to bake, so I bought this ready cake bottom. And this fresh potato is to be eaten together with the fermented fish. And this salmon need to be frozen before I make them into gravat laks. Maybe a small pie with this cheese. And I thought maybe I should ferment this with some blueberries. And some meringues for the cake toppings. For decorating the Smörgåstårta, I usually like to decorate with cucumbers and grapes. And if there's space, some salad. For the filling, some fried onions and liver pastry with mayonnaise. This day I make my own ice cream with this cloth. And of course, strawberry is also very important for this occasion. Some white bread for the smörgås layer, and some orange juice and some dill. All this cost around 600 Swedish crowns. The party, I taught my Korean guests how to make this flower wedge. Usually the Swedes like to wear them around the hairline. And usually the ladies like to wear all in white. And we get really lucky with the weather. It's really sunny with no cloud in the sky and it's slightly chilling, which is good because we're gonna be playing games in the garden. As usual, midsummer usually comes a little bit of rain, but this year it was odd. There was no rain at all. Usually before midsummer there's a lot of mosquito. It's good to have this tent. Now let me show you how I prepare my salmon gravat laks. I usually like to split them into two like this and then put the salt and sugar and the dill on it and then make them like a sandwich so that I could put them in the bags easily. So it's really good to make this at least 2 days in advance. Otherwise 1.5 days if the fish is smaller. Turn the fish 3 to 4 times a day. Smörgåstårta is something really easy to make and you can make this in advance. Usually I like to make them at least 1 day in advance so that the flavors are more developed within the sandwiches. If you are interested to find out how I make this Smörgåstårta, I have made a video early on. I'm going to include that in the video description so you could check it out too. Right now, I'm just simply decorating the Smörgåstårta with some salmon, cucumber, lemon, grapes and some tomatoes. Because my guests are allergic to shrimp, so I'm going to be adding just ham instead. And I like to decorate them on the day of midsummer. And here is my midsummer buffet. Fresh potato with blueberry seal. These are really easy to make. All you need to do is just to add the blueberries into the seal and then marinate them for at least 2 days and eat them with this. We call that gräddfil. And usually we serve them with eggs. And surprisingly, this was really good. Usually, strawberry at this time is quite expensive. So I suggest that you buy them at least 2 to 3 days before. And strawberry can be kept fresh longer if you follow my step. I've made a video earlier on, so make sure you go and check it out. Usually for strawberries, we like to eat it as fresh as possible. In this case, I'm just adding some crushed breadcrumbs like digestive cakes and then add some vanilla cream top up with the strawberries. It's really easy to make. You can make them within 5 minutes. And make sure you apply some mosquito prevention cream before you attend the midsummer because there's often a lot of mosquito during that day. Not just on midsummer day, on any normal day. Before, after midsummer is often a lot of mosquito. So we often wear long sleeve and protect our hair like you see in LG's head. he uses scarf to protect his head from the mosquito. I am quite allergic when I get mosquito bite, so I often eat this allergic tablet to prevent myself from scratching. Well, if you have any tips, let me know in the comment. I love to know that too, so I don't have to suffer so much. And here, me and LG, we are clearing some weed from the garden. As you can see, there's always something to do around the house. Tell me, where do you have time to be bored? And besides the wheat, there are also something to be harvested at the garden. For example, the rabarber. And look what I found. It's ridiculous. It's just the beginning of the summer and you already seen mushroom in the garden. And ladies and gentlemen, let me present you rabarber. This is a very good plant. I do not know whether you call this a veggie or a fruit, but it is between vegetables and fruits. So usually I like to harvest them during this time because they are young and tender and usually they have more taste. I don't want to wait for them to be big because after that they don't have so much flavors in this. So usually I like to harvest them like this and then make them into jam or even juice or lemonade. It has a lot of health benefit and the sweet like to use it in baking and even making dessert and ice creams. Since I'm allergic to mosquito, I send LG inside this forest to pick the rabarber so I don't have to be bitten by the mosquito. And look, more mushrooms in the garden. While he's picking the rabarber, I'm gonna see if I could find some worms so that I could use it as bait while fishing. The ground has been dry lately because there hasn't been any rain, so we couldn't find any moss or worms under the carpet. So poor me have to dig from the soil. Usually it's quite easy to find if you have a compost, but we don't have a compost, so I have to dig them in the garden. Usually you can find quite a bit of worms here. So what to do? If you want to get fish, you have to find worms. And look what I have found. Some big fat juicy worm. Let's hope that the fish love this. And what a harvest. We get a bunch of rabarber and some worms. And time to wash them properly before I cut them into smaller pieces. Wash them again and use half of it to make a lemonade. It's so easy. Just cut some lemon, put the rabarber with some cold water, let it sit overnight. As for the remaining, I'm going to freeze it and use it for pie later. There's something wrong with the boat motor recently, so LG bought a motor online. Hopefully the weather is good so we could go for some fishing this evening. And before we head out for fishing, we usually like to have something light because today we didn't have dinner, so this is going to be like a late night supper just before fishing time. And here we eat some leftover salmon from the Midsummer, and I thought this was really good, so I don't have to cook every day. So senang, right? So after fika, time for fishing. This honestly is my favorite time. I just love to be on top of the water, enjoying the sceneries with a great company. Can you imagine? This is like almost midnight now. The sun is about to set and it's so quiet. And the only sound you could hear is us throwing our fishing bait into the water. And just imagine you have this whole sea by yourself. It's so peaceful and relaxing, don't you think? The next thing I would like to learn is learn how to operate the boat so that I could be the captain. Captain SD. Right now, my duty is to throw anchor, put babes, and navigate LG. It's not so important how many fish we caught. Rather, it is more important the time we spend together in this beautiful sunset. To me, that's a romantic settings. That to me is pure joy.
Summer day，做好了着你的准备，只有谁让陪 It's a summer day，今天晚上风很温柔，你的脸也很红。
It's almost 1 a.m. and it's still so bright. Time to head home to the bed. I hope you enjoy this trip with us on a boat trip. If you do, give a thumbs up so I know you're enjoying it. If you are still around on this part of the video, I really appreciate it. I would love to hear from you in the comment. I'd like to know where are you from, and I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.